BP petrol stations closing today as the company struggle to get enough fuel to its forecourts because of a lack of truck drivers. It's the latest example of the shortage economy biting, with supermarkets and manufacturing firms all struggling to get goods across the country. Today, the Bank of England said these shortages were slowing down the recovery and feeding into price rises. It now sees inflation topping 4% by the end of the year, double the government's 2% target. In Wolverhampton, they're seeing that inflation firsthand.
I've been in this business for 25 years and I've not experienced anything remotely like this. And when it comes, every instance taken in isolation is relatively minor and you could manage, but it's when they're all at once.
Zorn specialises in high-tech steel fencing used for prisons, constructions and utility companies. Their products are in high demand, but they're struggling to get the basic raw materials they need in the wave of soaring prices.
Steel prices have been a problem and supply, so from about a year ago, steel prices have doubled. Also had problems with just, curveballs like gas. So one week we almost ran out of forklift fuel because the gas supplier only sent us half of what they normally do because they didn't have enough.
So you've got shortages in steel, you've got shortages in gas. What else?
Wood, packing wood, which it's all these little things that you'd sort of take for granted. And last year the supply chain was working beautifully, and now you think you're rocking and rolling, and suddenly you're stopped because we can't get the wood to pack the products with.
The bottlenecks are a global problem, but worse in the UK because of Brexit. Today, the British Chambers of Commerce called on the government to hold a crisis meeting, with many companies unable to absorb the twin problems of shortages and price hikes. Here's the pressure. Steel prices have shot up 130%. The cost of wholesale gas is up 420%, imported wood up 64%, while much of food is on the up as well, with beef rising 20%. In homes, it's low-income families who are most exposed to food and energy costs. Together with the cut in universal credit, families could now be £1,750 worse off. With a series of energy companies going bust and leaving customers anxious about their bills, the government was in Parliament again, getting grilled by Labour about the squeeze on households.
I said to the Secretary of State that he was being far too complacent about the situation we are facing. Events since have unfortunately borne this out. Complacent about the crisis in the market, complacent about the impact on families, complacent about the cost of living crisis. He pretended on Monday and again today that it was normal for a number of suppliers to go down each winter. But what we are dealing with is far from normal, Mr. Speaker.
We haven't been complacent. The government has been clear that protecting consumers is our primary focus and shapes our entire approach to this issue.
But more than half the above-target inflation forecast by the Bank of England is due to higher energy costs, with the governor of the bank forced to write to the Chancellor to explain why inflation has breached the official target. Businesses and consumers are already struggling with shortages and price increases. If inflation embeds deeper than the bank thinks, that could mean higher interest rates too, and all at a time when the government is about to raise taxes to record levels.
Ella Ebrahimi reporting from Wolverhampton. Well, joining us now from West Sussex is Hannah Essex, Co-Executive Director of the British Chambers of Commerce. Hannah Essex, it's a perfect storm, and it seems that the ingredients are Brexit and the pandemic particularly. Is that how you read it?
That's right, and there's a lot going on for business at the moment, and you just heard from one of the members of the Black Country Chamber of Commerce there in that clip, the combination of rising costs, of labour shortages, of delays across borders. There's an awful lot going on for businesses that are all trying to recover from what's been an incredibly difficult 18 months.
The trouble is these two ingredients, the pandemic and indeed Brexit, are very difficult things for us to kind of offset, aren't they?
That's right. And some of these issues, those that are impacted, have come from the pandemic, are not just issues affecting the UK. So shipping costs, for example, we've seen a 7-fold increase in the cost of shipping containers. That's something that's impacting on other countries, not just the UK, and there's no easy fix to it. Some things like labour shortages, which is in part down to Brexit, there are solutions that the government could quite quickly do. For example, introducing more temporary visas to allow in more people who want to be HGV drivers or work in hospitality or care sectors, which are the areas that we're hearing are facing the greatest shortages of labour. Construction's another one. So we could solve some of those issues, but some of them are greater than even the government can control. And we think that government, business, and others need to come together to find some longer term solutions to some of the challenges that businesses are facing as we try to recover from the pandemic.
Couldn't we have foreseen all this? I mean, we knew a lot about who was driving our trucks. We knew there was a very strong European element and that it would have terrible consequences. Surely the army could have been readied, or, for example, many more people could have been trained.
Well, I remember talking to a haulage company back in, I think it was 2019, early 2019, who were at that point saying, we are losing drivers who are from other EU countries because they've decided it's time for them to go back to their home nation following the referendum. So there's definitely signs there earlier on. I think we didn't anticipate then the pandemic that there would be quite a sudden exodus. I think a lot of people at that point when the pandemic hit decided it was time to go back to their home nation, and they haven't returned since. So there were some early warning signs, but I don't think the scale of the problem was necessarily anticipated, even by the industry itself.
Well, what comfort can you bring us? Can you see any way in which things are going to ease quickly, or that can be manipulated to do so?
I wish I had a crystal ball for you, John, but I think we live in very turbulent times. What I do know is that businesses right across the country are innovative. They've adapted very quickly during the pandemic. They faced some of the biggest challenges that we've ever seen in this country and have come out of it and have survived and have adapted and innovated. So I think if we can find some solutions that the government can introduce around, for example, labour shortages, and if we can bring together business and government and some big brains to tackle some of the longer term issues, then I would very much hope that we could see a more optimistic future.
Putting it simply, can we dream of a better Christmas?
I think there are potentially some real challenges around Christmas. Hopefully we can all see each other, which would be better than last year. But in terms of supply of turkeys and things like that, there is a famous turkey farmer in Suffolk who are really struggling to find the people they need to process the turkeys that we all want to have on our table at Christmas. So if we can tackle some of the labour shortages, if we can get more drivers in, if we can deal with some of these cost issues, then I think we can hopefully all celebrate a lovely Christmas.
Hannah Essex, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.